So during that quiz, which I will get rid of on my screen here, we heard from Minecraft recipes, and we also, you may have just remembered that we heard from Jesus. In the question, who did Jesus call the light of the world? We saw there were two answers. And so we're going to think about one of those answers this evening. You are the light of the world, Jesus said. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. A town built on a hill. Now, that's a phrase that we may or may not remember, but a city on a hill. Well, that's a phrase that has been used by Christians almost 400 years ago. And they were about to cross the Atlantic in search of a new home in America. And they decided that their new community would be as a city upon a hill. The eyes of all people are upon us. That's what one of their leaders said in reference to this passage from Jesus. That same phrase, a city on a hill, has been quoted by Presidents John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, and Barack Obama. But do we believe those words? That we are the light of the world, the city on a hill, and that we cannot be hidden? My children love torches, and so do I. Here are some of my bike lights. Here we go. You ready for this? Ooh, there's one. It's nice and bright. There's another. Oh, it's even brighter. Look at that one. Two front lights. Let's, oh, here's one. Little fella. Here we go. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. There we go. Here's reverse light, not a reversing light, but the one you put on the back of the bike. I like that one. Let's just turn that off. Here's another. You can never have enough lights. There we go. I like the different patterns. I like that one. That's cool. That's cool. And I'll show you my latest. This is I love this. This is just fantastic. This is very, very bright. That looks white, but that is actually red. It's just so bright the camera can't cope. Look, it's getting brighter. Oh, look at that. It's like Knight Rider, if you can remember back to the 80s. Oh. I love lights. And as a cyclist, my lights have two purposes. The first purpose is to light my path, to light the way ahead of me. I remember when I was cycling in Kerry, this was the first time I went out on a bike in Kerry. And if you don't know Kerry very well, it's a tiny little village with a few streetlights. And then once you get out of Kerry, no streetlights, absolutely nothing. And I went cycling with this light. And if you look at it, if I shine it at the camera, it looks bright. But actually, when I shine it at me, it's not terribly bright. And it took me about 30 seconds of cycling with this light to realize I need a brighter light. I had to cycle really, really slowly. And in fact, one time my light fell off. I was plunged into darkness and I had to scrabble across the road to try and find all the batteries. So I bought this. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is so much brighter than the other one. And it gives me so much more visibility to be able to see. When I moved to the forest, the main purpose of these lights were to see all the potholes, because roads in the forest were pretty awful, and to spot the wild boar before I hit them. That was very important. The Bible actually talks about itself as being a light, saying that the word of God, that the Bible is like a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. And we can try other ways. We can take all sorts of advice about the right way to go. But we have to be careful. We may find that when we look elsewhere for light, the quality of that light might be like my first bike light. It looks bright, but when we are in deep darkness, we cannot see all that far ahead. We can easily stumble. We can hit a wild boar. We could go pretty wrong if we don't have the right light. When we actually turn to the Bible and turn to Jesus, then we realize how weak our original light was and how bright God's light can be. And we can see new things, and we can look further ahead, and we can avoid mistakes because we have the right light. But there's another purpose to a bike light than just seeing the road ahead, especially one of these bike lights. And that's to be seen. I often say when I'm out there with my bright lights, they're not so I can see, they're so the emergency services can find me when I get hit. But the reality is, when I'm out there in the darkness, I want others to know where I am. I need to be highly visible. I need to be lit up like a Christmas tree. So the light there is for the benefit, not of me, well, it is because it saves my life, but it's for the benefit of others. How we live our lives, the things we say and do as followers of Jesus will be seen just like a light, and they will be heard. You cannot exist in a community for long without people seeing and knowing about you. I remember during lockdown, and I was speaking with somebody about how few people I knew in the community, and they said, oh, well, that's interesting because I met somebody who actually does know you. They know you as the guy who cycles up that really steep hill. That's what they knew about me, and that's okay. But actually, I'm more than that. I'm a follower of Jesus. So how does that light shine out in my life? How can we make that light shine? Now, we can hide our light. In fact, I bought a handlebar bag, and the problem is it's so tall that when I put the light on the handlebars, it blocks it. I've got to move the light. Otherwise, I can't see and they can't see me. We can hide our light. Jesus says no one should hide their light, but we can. And as individuals, sometimes we don't have the confidence, or sometimes it's not that easy always to shine. Our light can be hidden. But a city on a hill with all those lights together, so even before, turn this light off, even before the electric light bulb, you cannot hide a city full of lamps. As a child, and this was after the electric light bulb was invented, as a child, I loved staying over at my grandparents' house in the spare bedroom. And it looked out across Blackwood, one of the valley towns in South Wales. And at night, we could see the lights shimmering all the way across the valley. And I loved it. Coming from Crewe, which was very flat, to Blackwood, where you could see all the lights of the town, I loved it. It was pretty and it felt comforting. You cannot hide Blackwood at night. You cannot hide a city full of light on a hill. A community of disciples, of followers of Jesus, cannot be hidden. And if you want to make a difference, join that city on a hill. It's not really a case of your little light in this little field and my little light over there in my area of darkness. We are a city on a hill. As one preacher said, when Jesus comes to us, he always brings his family with him. And that's us. You join Jesus, you join his family, a whole multitude of lights, a starry night filled with light. Friends, there will be darkness when it's hard to know where to go, when we lose our way because times are difficult, or when we lose someone we love. But there is also light in Jesus as the light of the world, and in his family, who he says are the light of the world. It's in those places where you will find light.